Hello everyone, my name is Fang Boda, and the last digit of my student ID is 1. Today I will be presenting Task 1, Image Integration and Positioning from the lab, the first of March K correction. In this task, I will show how to add images in Jetpack Compose and control how they are arranged in the UI. The main requirement of this task is to use at least the 2 images in the interface, one as a background image and another as a content image. We also need to demonstrate the use of modifier size and modifier padding. These are very basic but important tools in Compose. Without using them properly, the layout can easily look messy or too crowded. Next, I want to explain an important point, why I use box for the background. At first, I actually tried using a column, but I found that everything was arranged in a vertical order, and I couldn't place elements on top of each other. So I switched to box, because box allows layering. This means the first element stays at the bottom, and other elements can be placed on top of it. That's why I put the background image at the bottom layer, so the rest of the UI can appear above it and create a better visual effect. Now let's look at the code. At the outermost level, I use a box container. The first image is the background image. I load it using Painter resource, and I use modifier fill max size so that it fills the whole screen. If I don't use fill max size, the background would only take up a small part of the screen and look incomplete. I also set the alpha to 0.05f to make the image very light. If the opacity is too high, like 0.5, it will affect the readability of the content. I also use content scale. Crop to make sure the image keeps a good proportion without stretching. For the content image, I place it inside a row layout. I use modifier fill max width and height dp to make it look like a banner. I chose 80 dp because if it is too big, it takes too much space, and if it is too small, it's hard to see, so 80 dp is a balanced choice. I also use content scale. Crop here so the image looks clean and not distorted. In the whole UI design, I mainly use 2 modifiers. The first one is padding. I use padding in several places to control the spacing between components. Without padding, everything would be too close together and look messy. The second one is size. In my menu item component, I set all icons to 50 dp. This keeps everything consistent and makes the UI look more organized. Now for the app result. When I run the app, the background image is very light and only acts as decoration. It does not affect the main content. The banner image in the middle is clear and keeps its correct proportion. Overall, the layout has a clear structure, and the layering works well. The UI is also stable across different screen sizes without layout issues. From this task, I learned more about how different layout components work in Compose. For example, box is useful for layering, while column and row are better for linear layouts. I also understand better how padding and size work. Padding controls the space outside a component, while size or height controls the component itself. At first, I often confused these, but now it is much clearer. This task also made me realize that UI design is not just about placing components. We also need to think about spacing, proportions, and the visual balance. Even if the app works, a bad layout will still affect the user experience. During the process, I also faced some small issues. For example, when I didn't use content scale crop, the image looked stretched and unnatural. After trying a few times, I found that crop gives a much better result. Another issue was spacing without padding. The layout looked too tight and uncomfortable, so I added padding in different places to improve readability. I also tried different sizes, like 60 dp and 100 dp for the image height. After comparing, I found that 80 dp works best for this design. This helped me understand that UI design often requires testing and adjustment. Through these improvements, I not only completed the task, but also gained a better understanding of layout control in Jetpack Compose, especially how to balance visual design, space usage, and user experience. If I continue improving this UI, I might add some simple animations or click effects to make it more interactive instead of just static.